Well, I'm here with Dan Wooledge, the coach of the Itaumas. How are you?
Yeah, good, thanks. You?
I'm all right. Look, big day, big day. Big
Yeah.
Moses is turning pro. Tell us your thoughts.
Yeah, well, obviously he's got his own aspirations. Obviously, he's trying to break probably the best known record in boxing history. But yeah, so yeah, it's good.
Is it achievable, this record?
It's achievable in terms of him as a person, and he can only beat who's in front of him. But obviously, you've got politics and stuff in boxing, and it depends who's in his way. Like at the minute, there's people who've been sitting there waiting for a shot for a long time and they haven't got it. So, if there's a perfect storm and it all lines up, it's doable. Yeah.
How good is Moses Itauma?
He's special. He's very special. Yeah. Since he was a young kid, he's been special. Obviously, I've coached him since he was 9. Probably it started showing when he was about 11 or 12. So he was always had to spar people that was far more advanced and mature. So yeah, I'd say from 12 it started to show. Yeah.
What is it that you were seeing in there? Was he just handling bigger kids, or what was it that you saw where it clicked and you thought, okay, he is very, very special?
It was more his boxing IQ, his ring IQ and stuff like that. I remember like driving him home from training and saying to him, we had a conversation about different fighters and stuff like that. And I said, it would be good if you could be like a cocktail of boxers. So I said to him, like, study certain fighters and stuff like that. So he took it literally. And since then, up to this day, he literally studies every fighter. So he's kind of self-professed in a way, but obviously I've had to help him grow and develop into the fighter he is. But he's very astute and athletically intelligent.
Are there particular fighters that you're talking about where he is studying them religiously and taking little bits of their style and using it for himself?
Yeah, there's lots of fighters that he's interested in and influence him. Naz is one of them, believe it or not. So there's a bit of that in there. James Toney. Obviously likes Mayweather. He's quite a defensive fighter as well. We do a lot of tech work on defence. George Foreman. Obviously Muhammad Ali is a big influence on him as well. Let's say Floyd Mayweather. A lot of defensive fighters he idolises. Yeah.
We're hearing a lot of whispers about these spars. He's getting called in to spar world champions. He's just barely done his GCSEs and then he's leaving double maths and going to spar them.
Yeah.
How are these coming about, these spars? How does it all happen?
So, obviously, within boxing, people hear about stuff like that, and I had a bit of a link with a guy that works with Shane McGuigan. So, the first pro he went to spar was Lawrence Okoli. So, the guy that works with Shane McGuigan, he contacted me and said, can we get Karol in for sparring? So we got Karol in there. Karol done well, so we took Karol down there first. And then I messaged him back and saying, look, I've got this young kid, like his brother, he's a southpaw as well. Do you want me to bring him down? And it just went on from there, really.
But he's clearly impressed that there's so many whispers about him. Are you? There's a lot of hype around him. Are you having to kind of keep his feet on the ground, or is he doing that all by himself?
He is quite grounded, to be honest with you. He's quite a simple kind of lad. He's not into like lavish lifestyle or doing anything extravagant outside the ring. He's very grounded. He's way more mature for his age mentally. So yeah, I don't have to do a lot to keep him grounded.
And you've got both the brothers. You've got Karol as well.
Yep.
How are they different?
Chalk and cheese. Yeah, they're chalk and cheese. Karol is very, I say he's got like an OCD mentality. He's very hard working, and Karol's had to. He talks about incremental gains a lot. The reason that is because when he started boxing quite late, when he was 14, and he's had to work really hard at his development. He wasn't a natural fighter. He won't mind me saying that, but when he come in the gym, he wasn't a natural fighter at all. He was more of an athlete, if that makes sense. So, and he's had to build his sort of skill levels bit by bit. So he's been on like a slow, steady trajectory, whereas Rico is, he's more of a natural talent, I would say. Early on, you could spot the natural talent, but it's just trying to harness it in the right way with Rico. Where Karol, it's like I say, incremental developments. Rico's a bit more creative as a fighter and a person.
And how are you feeling about this? You are the man charged with kind of guiding their careers as the trainer. I guess the fighters will be brought to you as, shall he fight this guy next, shall he fight this guy? You'll be the guy saying yes or no. Big responsibility for you, really.
It is, yeah.
How are you feeling about it all?
I feel all right about it. Obviously, I've got their interests at heart because I've coached them since I was young, both of them, even Rico obviously as well. It's always a safety first element for me. That's why we coach defence a lot and stuff like that, because ultimately their safety's the main priority. And it's going to be difficult to move him as quickly as he wants to move, and obviously keep him safe in a way. But yeah, we can navigate him through, and plus he can look after himself, you know. But yeah, so it's a big job, and ultimately he's responsible for it because he's the one getting in the ring. But yeah, the opponents will be looked at carefully and stuff like that. We're not going to just chuck him in the deep end straight away. But at some point, to break that kind of record, you're going to have to start moving quickly. So there's going to be probably a few eyebrows raised within boxing in terms of how quickly he's going to be moved. But we'll see.
We look forward to it. Let's end on Karol. It's his first title fight on January 28th. How's he looking? And do you feel as though everything's gone to plan so far in his career?
Yeah, he's had a brilliant start to his career. If I said to him after, especially the last fight, because it was the first 8-rounder, I said if you could have wrote out about how to go about it, that would have been it, because he got the 8 rounds in and managed to get the stoppage at the end. So his whole career's been like that, really. He's had some good opponents, he's had some not so good opponents, but they've all been kind of learning fights and stuff like that. So, and he's handled it really well, and I don't think it'll be any different, obviously, on the 28th.
Final thing I want to get your prediction on. Obviously, you're a student of the game.
Yeah.
You are a teacher as well.
Yeah.
Yarde versus Beterbiev is the main event on January 28th. How do you see that fight playing out? Is there a route to victory for Anthony Yarde?
If I was coaching Anthony Yarde, I would coach him for a short fight. So I would literally, because Beterbiev, he sort of warms into fights, and his work rate isn't high, but he's got huge power in both hands. So he's a steady, heavy-handed fighter. And yeah, I would coach Yarde to blitz him early on. I think that's the only way for Yarde to get the job done. If it goes into past 4 or 5 rounds, I'd edge towards Beterbiev. But Yarde has got the physical capability to overawe him in the early rounds.
And I think Karol sparred Yarde a little bit as well.
Yeah.
Presumably you were with him at the time. Were you surprised by anything that you saw?
To be honest with you, I didn't give Anthony Yarde enough credit before I took it for that spar. So seeing the spar, he's a lot more defensive than I thought he would be. Obviously, he's got a reputation for coming in and blasting people out of there, but he's very cute defensively. He's got a few moves in there that you can tell he's studied it. Obviously, he's getting good coaching and stuff like that. So, yeah, I was quite impressed with his defence, to be honest with you.
Good stuff. Well, Dan, brilliant speaking to you, and look, congratulations. This is a big day. Well done.
Thanks a lot. Cheers, Dev.